One of the most important skills is the ability to always adapt and never complain or dwell on the things you have no control about. In this video I want to share one of the most crucial skills in poker, but will also help you a lot in your life, because very often we face circumstances that we basically have no control over, and so many people waste their time and energy on complaining about it and being entitled and that they actually deserve more. But let's be honest, which is a very toxic behavior and basically hinders you in pursuing your own goals, dreams, and managing the challenges you have to face in every single day. You have to understand that not only in poker but also in the normal life of business, the market decides. You can complain as much as you can, whether you like PKO tournaments, whether you love HUDs, or whether you hate turbo tournaments. You don't decide which games will be played and how much rakeback you get. Period. I'm not saying whether it's good or it's wrong, but this is a matter of fact. You might be right, but you waste your energy and your precious time dwelling on it. You have two options. So you either play them, let's say PKO tournaments, or don't. And if you play them, shut up. There's so many people playing PKOs and still complaining how bad they are. That's unbelievable. Even complaining about their weaker opponents that made a mistake and still won a pot. That's just ridiculous and is a behavior that will lead into tilt. It will lead in draining you, taking your energy away, and focusing on making very crucial decisions. Instead, focus on how you can make it better in the future and exploit your opponent instead of dwelling on how bad his call was. This is simply stupid. And speaking about PKOs, again, you can either play them or you shut up. But for most of you, playing is still much better than not playing because it generates a lot of EV. Still working on it, but if you really don't enjoy playing them, then simply don't play them. Or whatever format it is, hyper turbo tournaments, turbo tournaments, or spin and goes. This is just for the sake of an example here. So yeah, there is an opportunity to make money with those kind of tournaments, and at the end of the day, the market decides which games will be played and not you. If it gets really that bad that you don't enjoy all the games that are running right now, then you honestly have to ask yourself whether it might be better for you to go and do a normal job. Go back into your old job, and even if it's a shitty job. But I think for most of us the answer would be clearly no. Actually, still poker is much better, even though the games are not as they were supposed to, but this is just the nature of things. Change will always happen. So be grateful for that opportunity, despite the structure and despite the rake is not ideal. There is a reason why there have been the same players on the top for so many years now, because they simply focus on what they can control. They put in the hours, they exploit their opponents, they study, and very often you even have opponents that might be not the greatest players, but they just grind so much, and with grinding so much they gain so much more experience over their competitors that they are literally destroying them at the tables. And in extreme situations where games go in a direction where they can't be beaten anymore, then don't play them, or organize a group of players and reach out to them, to the platform, to the poker sites, and try to be proactive. So yeah, if you can make an impact, then of course go for it. But it's hard. But if you don't want to do that and you want to invest all that energy, that's alright, but then at least shut the fuck up and focus on what you can control. If you don't want to make an impact, then focus on what you can control. Believe me, if you apply this for poker and also for your life, to focus on what you can control and accept the things you cannot control, you will be a much happier person, and you will have much more energy to attack the projects you truly desire, and yeah, to fight for the dreams that you want to accomplish in your life. Change is always an opportunity. And when there's change, you need to have the ability to adapt. new games are invented, and bring the opportunity to be the first to make a lot of money. In life or business, you have the opportunity to build businesses with social media, work from home, be your own boss, to make travel vlogs, food vlogs, and create content you love, and perhaps make money out of it. And I'm always saying, don't only focus on what you love. It should always be there should always be a market for it. There should always be a demand for it. I think it's a big fallacy to always believe just do what you love, and there needs to be a demand of it, is I think the quote-unquote magical formula, but this is a different story. There are for sure millions of people stuck in their old business structures and complain about social media and still going all in print media. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are for sure businesses that still do well with print media, but you probably have heard about these businesses and very stubborn old business owners that complain about this young generation, and they totally miss out on the trend in social media. And then they wonder, why don't they perform so well? Well, because they're not able to adapt. It's the nature of things. Well, if you don't want to change, if you don't want to adapt, then so it be, but don't complain about it. You have the same in life. Millions of people stuck in toxic relationships, complaining about their toxic and negative friends or girlfriends, boyfriends, and yet still hanging around with those toxic people, not willing to adapt, not willing to let go of them, seeking new adventures, seeking a change, and new opportunities, because everyone just wants to stay in their comfort zone and rather hang around with toxic friends than putting yourself in an uncomfortable situation and eventually make new relationships, network, attend events, or whatever needs to be done in order to increase the amount of people or the quality of people that you're surrounding yourself with. And that's how it is. New jobs, tools, gimmicks, games in poker will be invented, and you either like them and see it as an opportunity and you grab a piece of it, or you shut up and move on and seek something else that you might like, but don't dwell and complain about it. I had to deal with the same when the rakeback system was heavily cut back then a couple of years ago, and basically my games, which were sit and goes back then, were not able to play profitable anymore. Of course I was right, it was not the right move of the poker side, but what am I supposed to do? There was no way I could make an impact, and of course I was dwelling on that for several days and weeks, but at some point I realized, well, I cannot change anything, so what am I gonna do? And I realized, okay, let's focus more on Raise Your Edge. Back then it was just a website, an info site, and I wanted to grow it bigger. I started transitioning more and more to tournament poker, started learning more tournament poker and all the different stack sizes. And if this rakeback change wouldn't have happened, I wouldn't be here today talking about what I desire, talking about poker, talking about the right mindset. And so when I look back, it was actually a great opportunity to attack something new. And very often when you are into something and you make a lot of money and it's going well, and there's a heavy cut or a change that makes you change what you're doing right now, it's very often a good opportunity, and you're able to even grow more as a person, to learn from that experience and to move on and learn something new. And you have the same in esports. As you might know, we're in esports right now. It's catching up with traditional sports, creating new jobs and businesses. If you don't like esports, well, that's all right. Nobody forces you, but it will come, it will get bigger, and it will create more opportunities. As easy as that. And as I said, grab a piece or move on. And it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to give in to everything. What do I mean by that? Let's say, I'm not saying you have to accept everything. And I think also this message doesn't mean that, just accept everything. No, by not dwelling on it and wasting our energy on it and deciding, and consciously deciding we're moving in or we're moving on, and we make the decision that we're not going to put ourselves in such unconscious state of negativity, we make one of the strongest and smartest and most powerful decisions possible. We decide consciously, no, we're not putting ourselves in that state of negativity. We focus on what we control. This is such a strong move and has nothing to do with being weak, with accepting, because when you slip into this unconscious state of giving in to complaining and being toxic, this is basically accepting a state you actually never want to be in, and this is the weakest state you can be. So don't misunderstand in making this decision as being weak. It's extremely powerful, and I hope you will be powerful and you will apply that for poker, but also in your life and business.